unfiltered political analysis of the current events in St. Kitts and Nevis. Tune in every Sunday evening from 7:30 p.m. on Win FM. Join AZARD GUMBS as he breaks the mantle and cuts through the unfiltered political noise to bring you the facts. Unfiltered every Sunday evening on Win FM 98.9.
Found the sound. 98.9. Win FM. Better music, better talk, better radio.
You're on the best radio station, you know.
Yes, you don't have to tell me that. I know. Win FM, of course.
I'm listening, honey. I am listening.
98.9. Win FM. WIN.
Best can end in a serious dilemma. Now that the country been run by labor, this pure mayhem, scandal, disorder. With this Labour Party in power, is this a social club in disguise? Or some kind of criminal enterprise? What a menace to society this administration turning out to be. The PM got a so-called advisor, telling people how to get away with murder. It's non-stop attack on the treasury with paper daddy and mommy, sorry. This Labour bunch shot to the core, lacking integrity, that's for sure. Economists all hard life crippling, we a collective menace to society. It's like it's all cheap and no Indian. It's like lunatics running the asylum without a plan, ideas or structure. It's the people who left to suffer. No pop, no peace, bare unemployment. No money for bills, much less enjoyment. Total advantage, that's we fake. Under these enemies of the state. Hey, chief, can he get lawyer? He really a pamper playing labor, third politician now for sure. Going from door to door in number 4, law and order not a priority. No one in charge of the nation's safety. BAD join the cult of the greedy. He just a menace to society. Government buildings, well then the worst. We infrastructure seem like it costs. Electricity and water walk with the moon. Every month you hear the fix coming soon. Under labor life for this pure misery. Oppression, depression and tyranny. This gang is a menace to society. Life in SKN, this ain't no joke. Like the whole country going up in smoke. While Mr. Smiley and 10 money one busy fighting, jockeying for position. Lord have mercy upon all of we with this menace to society. Lord, this can end in a serious dilemma. Now that the country been run by labor, this pure mayhem, scandal, disorder. With this Labour Party in power, is this a social club in disguise? Or some kind of criminal enterprise? What a menace to society this administration turning out to be. Lord, this can end in a serious dilemma. Now that the country been run by labor, this pure mayhem, scandal, disorder. With this Labour Party in power, is this a social club in disguise? Or some kind of criminal enterprise? What a menace to society this administration turning out to be. The PM got a so-called advisor, telling people how to get away with murder. It's non-stop attack on the treasury with paper daddy and mommy, sorry. This Labour bunch shot to the core, lacking integrity, that's for sure. Economists all hard life crippling, we a collective menace to society. It's like it's all cheap and no Indian. It's like lunatics running the asylum without a plan, ideas or structure. It's the people who left to suffer. No pop, no peace, bare unemployment. No money for bills, much less enjoyment. Total advantage, that's we fake. Under these enemies of the state. Hey, chief, can he get lawyer? He really a pamper playing labor, third politician now for sure. Going from door to door in number 4, law and order not a priority. No one in charge of the nation's safety. BAD join the cult of the greedy. He just a menace to society. Government buildings, well then the worst. We infrastructure seem like it costs. Electricity and water walk with the moon. Every month you hear the fix coming soon. Under labor life for this pure misery. Oppression, depression and tyranny. This gang is a menace to society. Life in SKN, this ain't no joke. Like the whole country going up in smoke. While Mr. Smiley and 10 money one busy fighting, jockeying for position. Lord have mercy upon all of we with this menace to society. Government buildings, well then the worst. We infrastructure seem like it costs. Electricity and water up with the moon. Every month you hear the fix coming soon. Under labor life for this pure misery. Oppression, depression and tyranny. This gang is a menace to society. This ain't no joke, like the whole country going up in smoke. While Mr. Smiley and 10 money one busy fighting, jockeying for position. Lord have mercy upon all of we with this menace to society.
Good evening to everyone. Good evening. I am your host, AZARD GUMBS, and welcome to another episode of Unfiltered, as we speak about the issues facing St. Kitts and Nevis, as we speak about the issues facing our people. We know that over the past week, there have been two press conferences. On April 2nd, we heard from the Prime Minister of St. Kitts and Nevis. He held his roundtable discussion. The day after, on April 3rd, the Minister of Sports et al., Samuel Duggins, spoke about his ministries and what he is doing, or his ministries are doing, on April 3rd. I like to phrase that, that week we had a lot of talking. And we know with the Labour administration, it is plenty talking and little or no action. With me in studio this evening, I have Troy Flanders and Kyle Flanders. We will dissect what has been said by these two failing ministers who continue to fail in the ministries that they hold. The Prime Minister continues to fail the people of St. Kitts and Nevis. The economy is stagnant. They are saying that things are not going well. Even a former advisor under the Prime Minister indicated that things are not going well. We have Samuel Duggins, who continues to fail every test presented before him. He has said little, but he has said a lot, but done very little. And so those two press conferences, the people of St. Kitts and Nevis looked on with bated breath, because we understand the philosophy of the Labour Jew administration, the Jew-led administration, Jew-led Labour administration. It is much talking and no action. It is plans of grandeur, but no substance. And so we will dissect what has been said. And at the end of the day, we'll show you that the Labour administration continue to bring grand plans without hope of real success. They continue to bring brand and grand plans with little or no action. Troy, Kyle, how are you guys doing this evening?
That you have here have more views than any one of them press conference that they had. So
Yes.
so you show how much attention people paying to them.
Yes. In fact, Troy, when I looked at the Prime Minister's round table, you would anticipate, would hope, you would expect that there would be thousands of people viewing in to hear what the Prime Minister has to say. But Troy, at one point in time, it seemed as though only 9 people were listening from a particular social media page. Maybe another 10. And so one has to say, or one has come to the conclusion that the Prime Minister is ever increasingly unpopular. People are fed up
People
of
just count
listening
the
to him.
days and just hope when you go ring a bell.
Yes.
Good night, everyone. Good night, Radio Land. I got to correct you on one thing, though. You said that the economy is stagnant. To me, it's deteriorating. We're going backwards, regressing. So stagnant means stand still. But no, man, we're deteriorating. It's getting worse out there.
Yes. And the Prime Minister, at his press conference, you know, I am an attorney at law, and one thing that I hold dear is the right of freedom of expression, because when that is taken away, it kills and stifles the very democracy we believe in. And there is the Prime Minister at his press conference on April 2nd, referring to particular news outlets or Facebook outlets. He spoke about Wallace Wilkin. He named him actually, and he encouraged persons not to pay attention to St. Kitts Nevis Times. But one would assume that the Prime Minister, when he speaks about media houses and informal media houses, those houses that aren't a part of the media association, he would also speak towards those Facebook pages that are unanimous. No one knows who they are. We would also assume that he will speak to those persons like SKN Rhythm, who continue to post messages against the members of the opposition and against persons who speak up against the Labour Party. I do not know who SKN Rhythm is. Kyle, do you know who he or she is?
I have no idea who they are. And so it's real concerning that the Prime Minister chose to call out the so-called anti-Labour outlet. Once you're not pro-Labour, apparently, anything you have to say is fake news. This Trumpism, this Trump mindset that he gonna sue and he gonna do this, and anybody who's saying anything against the government is fake news. And that we can't go down the road. We cannot go down the road at all here in St. Kitts. He calling out the bloggers, he calling out St. Kitts Times by name. Right? He didn't even call out the other person's name. You have others accounts like, the Glenda Nisbet, who always, whoever that is, we know that's a fake account. As it says, St. Kitts and Nevis with him, fake account, always cussing people, always cussing Pam, cussing everybody without any kind of restraint. But yet, there's the PM up there with the whole chest talking about disinformation and misinformation. When in his very backyard, you got persons who are supporting them with the same mindset. So if you're calling out one, call out all, or let people have their freedom of choice and freedom of speech here in St. Kitts. As long as we're not condoning defamation, that's a whole different ball game. We're not condoning that. But because we talking about your policies, how poor they are, you feel as though what, you should call out people for that? Man, come on, we can't go down the 1985 road there.
Exactly, and Kyle, as you have rightfully said, the Prime Minister, there are fake pages. We hear about the Glenda Nisbet. The Glenda Nisbet might be here on Unfiltered tonight.
Every Sunday.
Every Sunday. Glenda is under the post for Unfiltered. Never once have we said to Glenda, never once have we attacked Glenda for her own expression, whoever Glenda is. There are other Facebook pages, fake pages, that support the Labour Party. And we would hope that Dr. Terence Drew called them out as well. But Dr. Drew only looks at pages that does not support him or his party and call them out.
AZARD is just distraction. The Prime Minister, no, he's not doing nothing for the nation. So he wants to say something, so it's distraction. He trying up something to frighten people who people pull back from talking about his failure. It's just a distraction. I'm going to sue. Sue who?
Distraction or not. It's very hypocritical, the height of hypocrisy, and we should not support that. No, look at this. You're calling out St. Kitts Times. You're calling out Wally Wilkins, as he said, on his round table. That page is also used to earn money. ad revenues because they do advertise on that page. So he's telling me, all of a sudden, tell people, stop going on the page and discrediting the page. What if the man sue you for losing money? Because it is actually a business. What if he sue you for because you said that on the platform and cause the man to lose sponsors and ads and that kind of stuff? What if it's able to do like that? Like, we cannot go down the road. Let people, and look here, I was so disappointed that it was a member of the press who brought it up. They should know better. They should know better that the press is the fourth estate and they are there to keep the government accountable. Whether it is formal or informal, look, some people in things are very passive. And so they're not going to speak out. Because when you speak out, especially if you're working for government, you end up like me, right? In a corner doing nothing when you speak out. Some people ain't got a kind of bravery. And so they're happy that somebody's there saying things that they want to say. They can filter their thoughts through people. So you want to stifle and silence those who have things to say with this kind of behavior. We can't condone that in St. Kitts.
We can never accept that. That is a strike to the very fabric of democracy that we uphold. And so we would hope that if the Prime Minister is talking about fake news, talking about informal media houses, or talking about pages that are not a part of the media association, that he would also call out those that support him.
Yeah, we really can't support that for real in St. Kitts. So, PM, do better.
So we expected better from the Prime Minister. We expected that he will not only call out those persons who do not support him, but even those profiles who do support him, who attack persons. We do not know who those persons are. He has never once made a statement at these conferences calling out these fake pages that support the Labour Party.
Only good news.
Better from the Prime Minister.
Only good Labour news is real news, as apparently. I mean, that's in scarce supply. Yeah, I can't tell to see a good policy or anything out there from the Labour government. So let's they got a long way to go with that one in particular.
Yes. And so we say to Dr. Drew, the Prime Minister of St. Kitts and Nevis, to do better. We believe in democracy. We believe in freedom of expression. And we will continue to highlight the failures of this administration. As Kyle has rightfully said, there are some persons who are concerned about their employment, and so they do not speak on issues that concern them openly. But many of them come to us, and we will continue to be their voice. We will continue to hold their feet to the fire.
For sure, for sure.
That's true, Azad. But you say you expect better from Joe. They're not campaign and better, and you get better. So, yeah.
Exactly.
It's better with Labour and Joe.
Yeah. That is for sure. The bitter gall.
So another thing that you see at his press conference, and we're looking at the Prime Minister, he speaks about his time in Nigeria. Mm-hmm. And of course, one has to ask the question, why is it that the Minister of Foreign Affairs, when you're looking at diplomatic relationships and you're building diplomatic relationships, why is it that the Minister of Foreign Affairs was not present at this meeting? It begs the question whether or not the Minister of Foreign Affairs and the Prime Minister get along.
That's a good question.
Why is the Minister of Foreign Affairs so silent when it comes to the interactions between St. Kitts and Nevis and Nigeria?
I believe I know what you know.
The Prime Minister carried the Premier. He carried the Minister of Agriculture. Even the Minister of Agriculture, who continues to fail every test, was given an opportunity to fail with his connection with Nigeria, while the Minister of Foreign Affairs was left out. And so one has to ask the question, is there a Drew Labour and a Douglas Labour that still does not get along? And so that Dr. Douglas is left out of rooms that really and truly he should be in as Foreign Affairs Minister.
You sure about that? I can speculate because Mr. Douglas had a press conference the other day, and he's supposed to be talking about investment, but yet had nothing to say, nothing to show at that press conference. So I feel that they understood that, well, Dougie's days are behind him, and so therefore, why bring him? Why bring him? I could only speculate, because he had nothing to show for all of his investment talk and that kind of thing. His whole ministry was there presenting. And I think one of the things that they came up with was what? Solar energy. And they went to Taiwan, and Taiwan again. We keep going back to the Taiwanese well. So anybody could have gone to Taiwan. They're in a brilliant investment strategy. Anybody could have gone to Taiwan, because everybody would go. All of them, Hanley went, everybody went. So there was nothing to show when former Prime Minister Douglas went on his trip. So by all means, you sit out the Nigeria trip, because you ain't helping us one way or the other. So that's all I could speculate on that one.
It is unfortunate,
It is.
Kyle. It is unfortunate, while these persons are the leaders of this country, that they continue not to quell, to resolve the divide so that the country can benefit. They need to resolve whatever issue is taking place in the Labour Party, because nothing is being done correctly. Nothing at all is being done correctly.
AZARD.
Yes, Troy.
What they need to do is just move out the way and let serious people run the country. That's what they need to do. Ring a bell, call the election, let people who serious about running this country, run the country. We had 3 press conferences, AZARD. 3 different ministers. And none of the press conferences the citizens of St. Kitts and Nevis get anything out of. 3 press conferences, and today, nobody could say that they say something will make their life better tomorrow.
Quite the opposite.
You understand?
Yes.
I was so feeling so pitiful for Denzel Douglas. When I look at the man being just a shell of himself, right? With the press conference, and I said, this man have nothing to offer the country no more. He reached the end. It's time for him to move out the way. Let young blood take over.
It was really sad for you. I mean, from where former Prime Minister Douglas was at his heyday, to what he is now, it is so sad. And even though when they were speaking about what they went through, he just seemed lost. Him and his colleagues seemed lost. Persons are talking about investment and the words of the choice of words and stuff just shows you that they have no idea what they are talking about. No idea. I guess that is why Joe ended up going to Nigeria, because they lost to all as to what is happening in terms of reaching out and investment and those kind of things.
You see, I think AZARD, you say it was the 2nd of April was the press conference?
Yes, the 2nd of April.
I think they had wanted to put it the 1st, but they don't know what people are going to say, because all Fools Day. And you're talking about how Jews so last. Look at how the man was attire, right? You think he was still in Nigeria?
Yes. In fact, Troy, one has to ask the question, out of all the African countries that we could have done business or started business with, why did the government of St. Kitts and Nevis choose Nigeria? I mean, there are some concerns. I heard persons talking about the concerns they had in terms of corruption. But we would like the Prime Minister to answer the question. Out of all the African countries that St. Kitts and Nevis could have done business with, why Nigeria? And it's just a question. We know that he will not answer it because he lacks accountability, lacks transparency. This administration continues to represent themselves. I can't even say that they represent the people of St. Kitts and Nevis because there is no consultation.
Let's really dig into this Nigeria thing. Yeah, like you mentioned, I mean, Transparency International ranks Nigeria as the 26th most corrupt country in the world. Just putting that out there. But let's dig into it, right? What did they bring back for us? What tangible deliverable did they bring back for us based on this Nigeria trip? That I could say, okay, I could see where they're talking about the agro hub. And there's so many questions around that. For example, the warehouse. Who's going to foot the bill for the warehouse? The interregional transportation, and who's going to foot the bill for that? Why are we focusing on exports at this point in time when our local agricultural economy is still stalling? Why is our focus on bringing in produce from Nigeria to disseminate them to the rest of the Caribbean? What is that supposed to do for our agricultural product? And then they are saying they hope that we can send back up stuff to Nigeria. They hope. So there's no contract, there's nothing written in stone to say, okay, this is what's going to happen. And they do that. Infrastructure. Where's the infrastructure to prep us if we have to be a hub? Do you think our little departed port could handle all the boat traffic? Are they going to park by Port Zante and we still have tourism to contend with? Where's the infrastructure that could facilitate such a move? Now, this cat before the horse mindset with this Labour government keeps reappearing. The housing, everything, it just keep happening. Cat before the horse. They don't consult anybody. They don't ask the questions.
You know, Kyle, you have made some important observations because when we look at it, they have gone, they left 12 or more of them. We heard of 12, it could be more, we don't know. They left the Federation of St. Kitts and Nevis. They went to Nigeria. When they went to Nigeria, we saw more pictures of them eating and drinking than really in business meetings. And then sometimes you wonder with this administration, they go, they leave, they meet people. And upon meeting persons might come to them with an idea. And it appears as though when persons present an idea to them, they take it wholesale.
Always.
They don't think about whether or not the infrastructure is available in St. Kitts and Nevis. They don't think about putting in the necessary infrastructure, putting in the necessary work, so implementation is smooth. So they come back to the people of St. Kitts and Nevis with these grand dreams, these big ideas. And when you look at it, you analyze what they are saying, you cannot take them serious because they have not put in the work to ensure that it becomes a reality. Look at East Coast. East Coast is a prime example. Dr. Hanley and the Labour administration spoke about 2,400 homes being built over a span of their term. They said 600 per year. The investor, whatever that investor said to them, engage them, excite them. They signed the contract. 2 years after, not one home built.
And they are 60% into their term. 3 years.
You wonder, because this administration keeps doing things. And Kyle, I could bring another example. Let's look at the Bradshaw Memorial Museum. That they had pictures, song and dance about constructing a museum where his home is located. That is incomplete. They talk about so many things. You look at Samuel Duggins and the Minister of Agriculture. You talk about the greenhouses, the 15 state-of-the-art greenhouses that were to be built in Newton Ground. All now not even one complete. You talk about so many incomplete projects and projects that soon come. And one has to ask the question, when is this administration going to wake up and understand that we, the people of St. Kitts and Nevis, are not fools?
Wait, one of the major problems with this administration...
The ideas about Nigeria, Kyle, they sound grand. They sound good. They entice us.
Which part sound good for you?
AZARD.
Which part sound good for you?
AZARD.
Because for local agriculture, that ain't sound good for us at all.
AZARD.
Yes.
When Dr. Denzel Douglas' administration was at its lowest point, he went overseas and come back and tell us that a Kia car factory gonna be assembling plant gonna set up here in St. Kitts. So it's a part of Labour playbook. To just smoke screen. It's just to show these big things to frighten people and fool people.
Getting a flight in the region where it's so hard. Getting a flight from St. Kitts to certain places is so hard already. Getting a boat is so hard already. So what happened? We got some miracle drug coming up that all of a sudden interregional travel going to just open up. And then we'll be able to be this massive hub for the region. Like, what can happen? I understand where Gibraltar are the West Indies, and so, the mother colony of the West Indies, so everybody sprinkle off from us. But eventually they reach places where they realize, oh wait, up here a little better for the hub than down here, right? So what gonna happen here? It just as dry as a smoke screen, right?
Yeah, so that's why, Kyle, I say let me clarify. In an ideal situation, in an ideal world, we would see that these seem, exciting plans. They come back, so to speak, as like Santa Claus to the people of St. Kitts and Nevis, but we know Santa Claus ain't real, just like their plans. You understand? And so when you analyze what they said to us and you break it down, you realize that these ministers have not put in the work to make sure that their plans come true. And so they're just talking for talking's sake.
Sound like Kim Collins pavilion, but no thought, no planning, no nothing, but they just do things just like that, right? So
you go on to the Minister of Sports, and he had a whole press conference with all his ministries. And the best thing he could say about the Ministry of Sports, as we all know, is that they had sports there. Well, Samuel Duggins, the Minister of Sports.
Congratulations, we had sport.
We expect there to be sports there. Is the sports term. What we did not expect was the postponement of the TDC Inter-School Championship.
And
what we did not expect was the postponement of the Inter-Primary School Championship. What we did not expect was for the construction and renovation of the Kim Collins Athletic Stadium to go on for years.
And what we did not expect was the regression back to the old Bastia High for sport either. Right? No, this thing is just so messy, right? This Kim Collins thing. And he on the just giving excuses after excuses. The man's double down on the rain, you know? The man double down on the rain as part of the problem. The man still ain't getting up on the rain. But you will realize, let's just dig into this thing here, right? So, 2008, the track was laid, right?
Yes.
Under Labour government. They say the quality disintegrated rapidly. Labour, 2013, they resurfaced the track. So are you telling me that the problems that you saw in 2013 did not exist? Okay, fine. Now they want to say Unity did nothing, or Sean as a minister did nothing. When you hear someone talk about, we got them in dilapidated state, they did nothing, 7.5 years. Well, Samuel, if the track went down in 2013 and we gained power in 2015, we're going to uproot a track that's supposed to last at least 10 to 15 years? We're not arguing, we'd actually think through these things. Because what Sean did was analyze and realize, oh wait, the athletes' village. We have to sort out the athletes' village. The call center, the call room. Before that, you know what used to happen? You see, because someone learning about sports, so they ain't going to understand these things. Before that, when you have an athletic meet, and you register your athletes under a little tent and so, children run up and down gone, they disappear, you can't find them. So raise a call, and you can't find no children. So you need to answer that. And it's okay, let's build a whole house for the calling center with bathroom facilities, everything. And it was a phased approach. Not like Samuel, who chose to do a vanity project and chose to put down the track when all we asked was, Samuel, we just want some good chairs, That's how we want, Because if you went to the last inter-school, people were just saying, but I'm paying $50 for these kind of chairs here. Nobody making on this but nothing else, We just wanted them to say, look here, give a little $35 and we're going to sell the chairs and be good. The man went and dig up everything without even thinking and then say, what? We have a new track now. We need a new base. So you did not think, you did not plan, no due diligence. You just went and ripped up the track just to look good and then keep back everybody.
Mr. Flanders, I will say, right? Forward thinking, it would have been, if I ain't going to do anything up there, I'm going to think about making it indoor. If you're going to spend a load of money like what they say they're spending, you should have been upgrading that to an indoor facility.
Well, you see, we need indoor and outdoor. Indoor and outdoor separate. It's two different competitions.
No. I'm talking about the Kim Collins. Whatever. But
you need indoor and outdoor.
But if you're going to spend this amount of millions of dollars up there, and when you look at it, it look no much different than how it was before. Right? That's to me just setting you back. You go move forward.
And guess what
But
happened?
but let's look at it, Kyle and Troy. We have a minister of sports, and as Kyle has rightfully said, it's a vanity project for him. If you look at much of what he has done, it's all about the glitz and glamour. It's all about putting himself on a pedestal. It's all about making him look good. But when he takes on these projects, it's as though he does not understand the full scope of the work that he has taken on. If you look at his press conference, you listen to his press conference, he spoke about starting the renovation of the Kim Collins Athletic Stadium and not understanding there and then when he started the renovation, the extent of the work. And it makes me wonder, wasn't there an assessment carried out before the work started that would have shown how much work was needed to be done? And these are basic things that we would expect the Minister of Sports to do in a situation like this.
Even following a budget. That's a simple thing, a task. Because if you realize, the budget for the Kim Collins renovation for 2025 was $1.5 million. That's what's in the budget book. But yet, he's coming telling us how much he spent? $4 million? So, the first 2024 was 1 million. 2025 was supposed to be 1.5 million. A grand total of 8 million they have for Kim Collins. So
Yes.
I'm guessing that they already blow the 2025 budget for sports then.
And there's still nothing completed. And then when we speak about the Kim Collins Athletic Stadium, because I did a whole video on it, and I spoke about...
The video hit them. The video hit them
I
hard.
I spoke about it. And then here comes the Minister of Sports putting out his own video about the renovations, about the work that they're doing. And we're not saying that work isn't being done. We're saying that the work should have been completed. And there has been work done by Sean Richards, who was the former Minister of Sports. But every time there had been work done, it was done in a way not to interfere with the day-to-day activities.
Exactly.
And so we have a Minister of Sports who does not understand how to manage.
He need to play
How
sports.
to manage projects well.
He need to go and play sports to understand what it's all about. Because he keep talking about 7.5 years, nothing was done. Mr. Minister, if you used to follow netball, you will know that the Pam Tyson area, there was resurfacing of the pitches, of the courts. The tennis courts were refurbished. If you used to play sports, you will know that even in Warner Park, repairs were done. Up the Kim Collins Highway, repairs were done. All across, even in Sandy Point, right? The basketball court was repaired. And thank goodness for that, they are able to host the junior tournament in Sandy Point. Because Scabba is in a mess right now. Right? Scabba is in a mess right now.
Let's talk about Scabba. You bring up Scabba. I was told that there's supposed to be renovations done to the basketball city, the courts. And the league that was supposed to be done or started months ago, the league has been postponed. Those persons who know about basketball will know that at this point in time, we ought to have had the opening of the league already. And so Samuel Duggins has failed again. The Minister of Sports has failed again.
I'm wondering if it's because he blew the budget. Because, like I said before, 4 million when you're supposed to spend 1.5 in a year and it done gone. I wonder if that's why I don't. I'm not speculating here. Because you blow the budget now, nothing there else for nothing else to be done. Because if they would follow up, if they would actually think, show foresight, plan. That's one of the problems I had in agriculture with them, you know. No planning at all. 25 by 25, they went based on a feeling. Someone come in and show me some kind of thing talking about this is will of people and this weird model like we never hear about that ever in my life. That's why he failed, right? If they would sit down and plan, they will get things done. The Sean Richards under the unity government was able to show you, okay, we need to we're going to touch here, we're going to touch there, we're going to touch there, make the money stretch. I can't trust these people. Like I'm so sorry that in this hard time, hard economic time, we have to trust these people to navigate the water tariffs with Trump and navigate trade and navigate all investment, and they're just not up to the task.
In fact, they are failing at everything that they are doing. I mean, you speak about, we could speak about sports, and when we speak about sports, we speak about the athletic meet that was supposed to happen with the athletes. And now, at this point in time, the SKN Athletic Association is seeking sponsorship like never before
Yeah,
because of the failure of the Minister of Sports to ensure that the venue was prepared in time.
not only
And what
that.
has the Minister of Sports done to rectify the situation? Has the ministry allotted or allocated finances towards helping these athletes?
Is that right?
No, I listening Azad, but Azad, they don't got cabinet meeting. I mean,
would assume they have cabinet
because
meeting.
I want to believe anything to do with government building, the Minister of Public Works should be involved also. So it's a
But
bunch
Troy-
of failures. It is a bunch of failures.
Yeah, they're a bunch of failing ministers. And they even have additional crew in cabinet. Because we have seen where the persons who were rejected at the polls
The rejected candidates.
included in cabinet. So they brought persons who are not supposed to be in cabinet, sitting in cabinet as though they are ministers, and still cannot get anything right. And then when we look at Kenny Douglas, who appears in cabinet meetings, even though he was never elected, he has a background in sports.
Yeah. It's very
Doesn't
real.
he have a conversation with the Minister of Sports?
Yeah, how that go for real? Like something going on there because he is a sports person. So how we go let it like how you going so wrong? How is it going so wrong if he's such an avid sportsman? There's something really off there.
And
They're
there's so
simply
many
not
things.
getting along, Azad. That's why they're not getting along.
But I ain't good for the
Clearly,
country, you know.
clearly something is not working within the Labour administration.
They are not
And they're-
getting along. You look at the pictures coming out of when they travel to a place them Nigeria and Dubai and them. You see who are laughing who? And who in another kind of by themselves?
But I mean
it is unfortunate because while they enjoy themselves,
They
on
living their best life.
living their best life with their highest salary, they have been the highest paid members of government for St. Kitts and Nevis in history. Never before have we had members of parliament or ministers being paid at the amount that they're receiving.
And
And they are
delivering the
working
less.
for much less.
And delivered the less.
They have delivered the least out of all. Out of all. And they're the highest paid.
there hasn't
One would
been
expect that
anything
with
tangible.
a raise in salary, there'll be a raise in performance.
No, why not in this government at all? I mean, like I said, the failure is collective. Because if you look at it, when we're looking at Dr. Drew's round table, he talking about agriculture. Dr. Drew is the de facto minister of agriculture. I got to say that.
I asked the
But
question
Kyle,
already. Who
Kyle,
actually running the
we
Ministry
all
of
know,
Agriculture?
we all know that in the cabinet of failures, there is the minister who fails them all. And we know that perhaps even Dr. Drew himself understands that this minister cannot do it alone. And so he has become the de facto minister of agriculture. And he's talking about Tabasco.
That's Dr.
He's
Drew
talking
project.
about,
That's
he's
Dr.
talking
Drew,
about
baby.
so many projects that would normally fall under the Minister of Agriculture. Even when it comes to the trading that they're saying, the trade that we're going to have with Nigeria.
He said it up.
There is Samuel Duggins, the Minister of Agriculture, signing the MOU. And there is perhaps, you see in the picture, Dr. Drew just looking over, making sure that he's signing the right thing.
Azad. As you
Making
speak,
sure that he's signing the right thing.
Try to
where
give him
his
some
name
shine
is
there,
supposed
yeah?
to be.
You try to give him some shine.
Azad,
Because Dr. Drew clearly doesn't
got
have the
confidence.
confidence in the Minister of Sports. So there is Dr. Drew looking over his shoulder, making sure that he's signing on the right area.
Look at the mixed messaging.
For that MOU.
Look at the mixed messaging. Dr. Joe talking about 100 acres, and then we're gonna move to a 300-acre farm. The one journalist at Samuel conference asked him about it. Samuel confused. Samuel said, well, I think is it Tabasco he was talking about. Drew said 100 for Tabasco, 200 in food. Samuel had to ask something totally different. But we need to really talk about the Tabasco though, seriously.
And then let's just talk about the Tabasco.
Yeah, man.
The government talks about giving acres of land not to the ordinary citizens of St. Kitts and Nevis to invest in this Tabasco, but saying that after these acres are given to someone else outside of St. Kitts and Nevis, that they could employ farmers. I think by every
step workers is it? Step workers is it?
Oh, step workers. And so it is a situation now whereby our lands are going, the vast majority of our lands are, when it comes to the Tabasco, so many acres of lands are going to be under the control of someone else other than the people of St. Kitts and Nevis. And so for every 10 acre, I think he said 30 workers.
AZARD, tonight what I want to say, right? And I want the farming community to pay serious attention to this thing.
Yeah, this is serious.
This is serious. This is the bread and butter. This is the lifeline, right? The government is saying that for 10 acres, right? Every 10 acre, you'll get 30 workers, right?
Yes.
That's step workers. Huh?
Go ahead.
Yeah, I think it's something said like that. 30 for each 10 acres. That's how we get 300.
I think it's that I recall as well.
But which farmer who have 10 acres or more have 30 step worker? If you know want 30 persons for 10 acres, which farmer in St. Kitts and Nevis have 30 workers, step workers on their farm for 10 acres, right? Not only that, the government now saying that they're going into food, cultivation, right?
Yes.
They're going to run this project. For whom I don't know, right? So I ain't gonna think that you're gonna empower the farmers to run that project. You could have cut up those lands and give farmers, even if you go contract the farmers to go the Tabasco pepper. But you cut the farmers right out of it, right? And I want the farmers to remember these things when the time come. We've been asking for money, right? To go into a revolving fund, right? They can't find the money. They cannot find the money to do that for the farming community. But you could find 5 million to go into a foreign operation, right? We've been asking for lands. The farmers have been asking for lands. They cannot find no land. But now you could find 100 acres to do a farming project also, right?
More.
And you say, he say you're going to find some who government-run farm. You're going to find another 200 acres who government-run farm. So which means that the 400-plus registered farmer will soon be out of business. If government going to run farms, tell me, when government got sweet pepper and I got sweet pepper, you think the supermarket is going to tell the government no? The marketing unit, which we sometimes depends on, who can control the marketing unit? You see, this is a serious bread and butter issue, and I think the farmers should start to get angry and start to show their frustration. Time when they rise up, and I will be there with them. And I know that the People's Action Movement will have the back of the farmers. Pam will stand with the farmers. I could say that. I could say that. The political leader of the People's Action Movement don't give me the assurance that they will have the back of the farmers. So I want the farmers to start to think about how we going to approach this thing.
And
Yes,
this
because what the government is doing basically, or appears to be doing, is holding the monopoly when it comes to agriculture.
they're nationalizing
We don't-
agriculture.
We don't want a big government.
They're nationalizing
We
it.
see that these individuals are not capable of managing the affairs of the state. A People's Action Movement administration believes in empowering the citizens of St. Kitts and Nevis, believes in ensuring that there's economic stability.
So I have one thing to ask, Prime Minister and Samuel. What is the definition of food security? What is the definition of food security? Let me save you some time. Food security is when all people have access at all times to nutritious food. Now tell me, where pepper fall into that category? Where is the exploitation of pepper fall into food security? Because they keep talking about these pillars. Douglas talk about this pillar. Samuel talk about this pillar. Drew talk about this pillar to build our economy. How is an exporting pepper fall under food security? Trump slapped us with 10% tariff, which means that the cost of Tabasco getting
Into
these
America.
peppers from St. Kitts has gone up by at least 10% at minimum. How does that help us in any way, shape, or form? Why aren't we looking inwards to take that $5.5 million and put it towards getting ourselves ready? Maya Motley just had a speech the other day talking about CARICOM's response to the 10% tariff, and she's speaking about the importance of agriculture to be self-sufficient, because you would understand that there's a trickle-down effect. If we are able to have cheaper food, then we're able to reallocate our monies to other things, other services. I remember going to Jamaica to study, and I had avocado all year round. You had yams all year round. You had bananas all year round. And that made food so much cheaper in Jamaica. So as many people talk about Jamaica economy, this and that, the food is so much cheaper. You ain't got to worry about these things. So if you are touting food security, how we going to eat pepper? You ever hear about Bonanza and the pepper? When Bonanza eat the pepper, and what happen? Why we don't eat pepper? Like, they are so misguided. And then they're talking about agricultural hub. How does that help our agricultural product in St. Kitts? Like these, look here, one thing what you said that really annoyed me. You're talking about landscapers. Oh, we got too much landscapers. Let it come out to agriculture. Because it's the same thing. Ignorance. You have no idea what agriculture is about. No idea. You don't understand that is an engine for growth. You don't understand you can't force pep workers to go and the farm to work. You must have it in your heart. You must have the love for it. And so therefore, if you're not going to help this, you go to any school right now, not going in a garden, not going in a farm. We've been begging for schools to have farms, greenhouses, to give students that introduction to agriculture early, so that they can have the love for it. You just force persons to do it. Go on the farm just like that. Inside go.
And then they don't got a load of bush break.
You got a lot of nonsense. People going to take a fire from a nobody going to, it's not in the heart. So this Tabasco project was misguided. If you're talking about food security, why would you not do pepper for somebody else?
But okay, not only that, Mr. Flanders. As a taxpayer, AZARD, you're not into agriculture, but as a taxpayer, you should worry about that $5.5 million.
Mm-hmm.
That's a waste. That will be a waste of taxpayers' money. The reason for that, because we have seen government-run farm already.
Yeah,
they had one down Capistier. They spent a lot of money. They had pep workers in there. At that time, there was called Yes, I think. Either Pepper Yes, one of them things they call them back then. Right? They had the same model that they're trying to introduce. They had it down Capistier. The place was fenced also. Capistier shut down. They were doing some tomato project across Kim Collins there. Government run again, it shut down. So as taxpayers, we should worry about how they spend our money, because we know that, like everything else, Government will mismanage, it will run down, it gonna shut down. And that will be a waste of taxpayers' money.
Imagine you have a deal, an agricultural deal, and the key stakeholders are left out. Some are talking about, copyright. You think I gonna sign a deal that leaves out my biggest stakeholders? I would tell Tabasco, hey, no, go so with that. If my people benefiting directly, may sign a deal with Joe.
But who they representing when they say that they're protecting copyrights? Who they representing and whose behalf they're making those decisions?
Troy, is this clear that this is a foreign affairs government? They are more concerned about foreign than local. This is a foreign affairs government. They're not concerned about the everyday individual citizen, national St. Kitts and Nevis. So when they leave the country, they represent themselves and those abroad, rather than representing the people of St. Kitts and Nevis and putting the interests of the people of St. Kitts and Nevis first. We look at it, and as you have discussed with the agriculture and the changes that they want to implement, so many people have spoken out against it. So many persons are saying that give agriculture to the hands of the average man and woman, the farming community. Let them become self-sufficient. Instead, help them assist the farmers with stimulus, incentives, subsidies, special deals that would assist with production. But rather, it seemed that only special deals and all of these things come if you're foreign.
But that will mean that you look inwards and you say they are foreign government.
That's all. They feel like local government. They feel as a local and import ain't up to scratch. Nothing
you
local
look at
is
the
good for them.
Look at the housing, and I bring it back again because you can tell the individual not by their words, or you could tell an individual not by his or her words, but by his or her actions. Look at the housing. The East Coast, you want to tell me we couldn't have a local contractor, a set of contractors employed, given work and employment to build these homes? Look at what the result is. Nothing.
There's no empowering of our local people. What are we going to school for? What are we going to college for? Right? If they're not going to trust our intellect, our intelligence, why everything has to got to be outsourced? Like this whole thing with Tabasco and Southern University and Niger. Like, what happened to our locals? We can produce our food. We can keep the money in our economy, and we can help ourselves to a position where we are able to be self-sufficient in many things. I mean, back in the day, we were producing so many things. Back in the day, we had our chicken, we had the dairy industry going, we had the wild potato industry going. So many things we're doing. But, like Dr. Douglas, kill agriculture, right? Well, put on life support. Talking about what everybody must diversify, go buy taxi and them kind of thing when the sugarcane industry close. I go buy taxi.
But this is the same labor administration and labor again, The same labor administration. They sit a cabinet and they make the decision that it is cheaper to import than to empower the farmers to grow we own. And labor make the decision,
So we're 25 by 25 dead now because that was about imports. So now we're exporting.
But I mean, I just said 25 by 25, right? Some people attack me, say that farmers supposed to make 50 million, and I don't want farmers to make 50 million. That was said by the same fake page. Attack me, that same fake page. I don't want farmers to make 50 million. Today, 2025, we in April, so that means first quarter done gone, and we going into the halfway mark of 2025. And I want to know, I will ask the fake page, how much money did the farmer make last year, 2024, and how much they making this year?
Someone listening about 25 by 25 anything.
But you don't, not even June.
It dead.
As I talk about the greenhouse village, you got 3 skeletons down there, and X amount of millions of dollars don't spend. Taxpayers' money again. That's why taxpayers need to get angry with labor. Taxpayers' money being wasted. Farmers asking me, try when we don't get a greenhouse. They want to apply their trade in the greenhouses. When they going to get them?
But Troy, I'll go even further. Even the people working on constructing the greenhouses, some of them ain't even know when it's going to be finished. it's it's as though there is no plan, and we have seen by the actions of this administration, they ain't got no plan.
Well,
They
apparently, well, like let's say school children say, apparently someone was paid already for the greenhouses, didn't do anything, and now they're left in the lurch, holding the bag, and nothing there to do. Because, again, not thinking, no thought goes into anything, no due diligence in nothing.
So I say they pay somebody already, they don't pay to fix the greenhouse, that's what people are saying?
That's
what
what
people saying?
That's what they say.
The greenhouse village was supposed to be 9 months, you know?
So they shame
9 months.
Because
9 months.
They don't spend the money, nothing to do.
That's it. Let me use months. 20 months later, you got 3 skeletons, not one finish out of 15. Not out of 15. That's a scorecard for the greenhouse. 0 out of 15. Samal again. Samal again. 0 out of 15 after 20 months of a 9-month project.
I think that's a F. That's a fail. I think that's a fail. 0 out of 15. That's a fail.
But
yeah.
you see, these countless failures mean nothing to him because he's used to failing over and over again.
As long as he look good doing failing, right? As long as the picture on, as long as the camera on when they're failing, like everything fine. It's all about optics for this one, right? All about optics. So
Exactly. And just recently, you know, there were I heard conversation where there are some workers in the who are associated with the tourism industry who feel as though whatever employment they are under, they feel that they are being unjustly dealt with. And they said, individuals came to me and said that they spoke with the Minister of Tourism and Labor about the situation. They spoke to the Prime Minister, and maybe the Minister said that she would speak to the Prime Minister. But again, nothing to alleviate the hurt and what is perceived to be unfair treatment by their own citizens. And it shows that this administration
it's all around failure.
continues not to care about the people, even people who supported them.
All around failure. I mean, you got some ministries out there that all they do is just phantom projects, things that you can't even see how you're going to benefit you. I mean, this plastic ban thing, right? I mean, that's just my personal thing. Right? This plastic ban a plastic ban, right? Today I went Value Mart and I bought some stuff and he had a bag boy idea. I used to be a bag boy, right? I was a bag boy in Value Mart farm, second farm all the way up to fifth farm. So I understand you get a little money on the side. I see the bag boy just there doing nothing. Because I realize that now that no bags are there to pack, and people are packing their own bags, you realize that these are jobs that can be lost just like that. Because they say plastic bag and whatnot, now the bag boy out of a job. That's just something I observed today. But I would like to hear other persons, about this plastic ban of plastic thing. I'm not against environment, I'm not against anything like that. But all I'm saying, time and place. There's a time and place for everything. Could you imagine how Brooks going shopping and the last thing you want to be met with is where you ain't getting a bag for a little thing that may buy? Like, that's frustrating. And then even for businesses, nobody go impulse shop no more. Because imagine you going on the road and say, I'm going to buy something. You ain't got no bag on you, the tote bag ain't on you. You gone in, no bag, you say, but I left them there. I losing, you say, let me go home and come back, drive home and come back. So you're trying to protect the environment, but yet you're burning gas, going home, trying to get your bag to come back to shop. I don't remember any consultation about this thing in the community. Nobody asks us nothing, the general public. I don't even ask the business how they feel about it. But here we go. Plastic ban. And for what? I'm wondering if hurricanes are going to be less intense. What happening now? What's going to happen now?
As long as this Labour administration could make life harder for the people, they are happy. That's the only achievement this Labour administration has done since they got in office.
Every
make
policy.
Life harder for the people.
Every single policy from bus fare to ending safe to ending reduced PAP, current to fees. I hear something about development bank getting new fees. I don't know if that's true or not.
There was an article being circulated about the increase in fees
to pay your loan.
It is ridiculous.
This better be a joke. I mean, today's April, but this better be a joke.
But then the National Bank of St. Kitts Nevis increase fees on the people.
Every single policy is hurting people.
Everything, as long as the Labour cabinet sit down and they say, by who we hurt today? And they ain't gonna come out they laughing. Then when they sit down, they say, who can we hurt today? Because that's all they're doing. Putting pain on the people every single day.
Exactly. And then at the end of the day, Troy and Kyle, they go home with their lofty salaries. Their salaries are the highest that any minister in their position have ever received.
So that's so in 3 years, some could pay a student loan. We don't take
It was
money
less
from
than-
you.
it was less than three.
We have ministers saying that because of that job, in less than 3 years, they could complete their student loan.
But in reality, they are insulated from all this hardship with the common man facing. They're insulated because with the kind of padding of money, plus all of the extra stuff you get, the travel allowance, the this allowance, the that allowance, you ain't feeling what the real men feel. You're no longer in touch.
That is why they are tone deaf.
Tone deaf and out of touch.
They're out of touch because they are prince and princesses. They are kings and queens. They're out of touch with the normal individual in St. Kitts and Nevis.
The man over Nigeria enjoying party.
They are part of the frequent flyer club. So then they on the Mile High trips, and the Mile High, they don't know what's going on below.
I wonder if they don't actually think about these things, the optics of it all. You go in Nigeria and you see all of these lavish things and the kind of thing, party up. You don't think about the optics, how it looks back home, that you over there enjoy. Just like when Trump and the golf course up the golf and people and the stock market crashing. Same mindset. I got my money, I save, so let them eat cake. Like the same mindset.
They do not care. And it is a pity because the next election, I just hope that the people of St. Kitts and Nevis retire them so they can go on a permanent vacation.
Like I said, we're 60% there, so we soon reach 3 years, we soon there. We soon reach there.
And as we conclude this evening's edition of Unfiltered, what are some of the, based on last week, Kyle and Troy, what are some of the things that stand out to you and the things that you wish to close on?
Well, one thing that stood out to me was the nothingness of it all. The nothingness of it all. And the majoring and the minor of the Prime Minister and his ministers. Little things that they want to... Like, we had sport day. Okay, he's supposed to have sport day. Cooperative's going to start a Facebook page. Okay, fine, whatever. I mean, the nothingness of it all. There's nothing tangible that all of these round the world trips have really given us. Douglas talk about, okay, we're going to solar power. We had solar before. Now compare that to Team Unity government. 7.5 years, all the tangibles. From the second pier to the road, to the PAP, to SAFE, to the garbage, the garbage can project, to the sidewalk project, to the roofing project, the schools refurbishment, like tangible things. All would be tangible things you could actually see. Up to now, laborers, it come in. Some of the plans make no sense. Tabasco SARS, Tabasco, no sense. So it's the nothingness of, and the thing is, I think they feel they're doing something for you. Because when you watch some of them face, they're like, you talk, and say, oh, you face, like, yeah, man, I eating here, I doing things. Some of them talk like, yeah, man, talking about drone and all kind of thing. Which farmer spend 20,000 US to buy a drone to do what with?
That for Tabasco. But what come out, what for me is the scariness for the farming community. I mean, I see farmers actually, the trade actually die. What you said, I see the end of farming as we know it. The farming sector, the whole farming community, I see it wipe out. That's the scary thing that come out of your press conference. The end of the farming community. No longer will we have farmers to employ the trade because what you announce is detrimental to the farming community. And the farmers need to stand up with I ain't gonna stand up, and I want them join me. I am
And
willing to
Troy, I
take
am
lead
willing
role.
to stand with you. I am willing to stand with you as relates to better treatment for our farmers.
Thank you. And I know a lot more people are farm sympathizer, and I want you all to join in with us. You have to
Our food
protect.
security is at risk.
You need pepper bags, you know.
Some ketchup on the pepper.
I think they took this song "Pepper Them" too seriously.
But that's what they're doing. They're peppering us. They literally peppering us.
Remember, we have a minister of a minister of carnival who's also the minister of agriculture. So who knows? Maybe he listening to the song "Pepper Them."
That's what he do in the farming community. My heart bleed for the farmers.
If you're not laughing, cry, yeah, because
we are losing, and what he are proposing a debt.
In a dangerous world, 10% tariff, and it could go worse. We got to feed ourselves.
And the thing about it, we are going into a more. The deficit is increasing from 60 to 68. Nothing to show for what this increase represents.
Azad, you know, I want you to do for me, please.
What is
I want you
that,
to ask Samal and Dr. Joe, what is the food import bill? You could ask him. For 2024?
That's if he's going to answer.
And 2023? And let me see how 2025 fit in.
Freedom of information, man. Should be able to do something with that. We should get the data that easy.
No, I want to ask them. Let us say it to the public. Let us tell the public what it is. We could get it from Freedom and let them tell the public what it is.
Yes. And so I want to thank both of you for joining me this evening on another unfiltered conversation. We recognize that the Labour administration is unfit for government. They lack the competence to perform their roles effectively. It's just talk shop after talk shop, promise after promise, no progress. And so we are hoping that the people of St. Kitts and Nevis will understand that we cannot elect another Labour administration. We have had 3 years of Labour pains, and many persons are saying they cannot continue under this pressure. We have seen the Douglas Labour, the Drew Labour, the division of Labour, and we have not seen a relief for the people of St. Kitts and Nevis. And so at this time, we know that the People's Action Movement stands ready to be the government next election under the leadership of Natasha Shani Gray Brooks. And so the party is building, restructuring. In constituency number 4, there is going to be an election for the constituency officers from chairperson go down. And so that election is to take place tomorrow, April 7th. I encourage everyone from constituency number 4, registered party members, to go out and support the persons putting themselves up for office. It is an important role, an important function in a democratic state. We have to ensure that the opposition is strong to keep the government's feet to the fire. We cannot afford another term of Jew labor. It is hard labor without any possibility of release. And so we are saying the only way to end the labor pain is to vote them out. And so the next election, you can count on the People's Action Movement. You could count on the leaders within the party. You could count on our political leader. And again, anyone with the same values, with mutual understanding and trust, are welcome to join us to ensure that we fight on behalf of the people of St. Kitts and Nevis and put an end to this labor tyranny. See you next week, God's willing, on another episode of Unfiltered. God bless.